let's go back to quickly the three different levels. For amateurs, consistency is king.
Yeah, so the amateur progression was what we saw in Bedrock. So when you follow Bedrock, you're following a version of the basic amateur linear progression that we saw in CrossFit football. The intermediate program was an intermediate template that I developed for Andy Stumpf. That was a training program that I developed for Andy so that he could get back and go in and go back from being injured, get commissioned, and go back and go back to Afghanistan. The professional was actually the program that I was following. And when that started coming to an end, I pretty much split out the amateur into Bedrock and then took the intermediate and the advanced and kind of collapsed them into one to make Field Strong.
And what changed also is the daily workout of the day.
Yeah. So what I did is I took that piece and I put that into Johnny WOD. Johnny WOD. So it was like, it kind of reminds me of like the Ottoman Empire. All of a sudden, everything split into a million different pieces. And we just programmed it like we saw what the program did and what it was intended to do, saw the strengths and the weaknesses, and then separated it into different pieces. So now you have like a Field Strong, which is a straight up sport performance program, which really comes from a blog post that I wrote. Somebody asked me, what would CrossFit football look like without the CrossFit? And I posted the Power Athlete template. That Power Athlete template evolved into Field Strong. The amateur progression on Johnny or on CrossFit football became Bedrock. The program that I wrote for 22 Jack Street became the foundation of Jack Street. Grindstone was based off of the programming that we put together for Bill Brasky up in Colorado, who wanted to be the strongest CEO in America, and we crushed it out the box on that. So that was Grindstone. And then when we had all this stuff kind of going on, this kind of CrossFit football thing was kind of floating over here, and people still wanted it. They needed their daily hit of CrossFit football. They needed their daily dick punch. They needed their weekly set my fucking face on fire type of program. And you know what? It was funny. I was driving back from taking my daughters to gymnastics down in South County. So we were taking them to the Caesarean place where they had all these Olympics. So like that's where all like the girls in the Olympics that were from Orange County all trained at the Caesarean place. So we drive our girls down, and I drove them down there, waited, and as I was driving home, Ben Crookston calls me. And I was like, hey, Ben, I'm thinking of doing this idea.
Who is the founder of Train Heroic?
Yeah, founder of Train Heroic.
Which hosts all the programs in which we're talking about.
And one of our oldest friends, and I count him as a friend and an ally and just an incredible both a student and a mentor in so many different ways. But I told him, I was like, hey, I'm going to take CrossFit football. I'm going to repurpose it, but I'm going to change the name. He said, what are you going to change it to? I'm like, Johnny WOD. He fucking literally, as I said it, I think he was drinking something because he spit whatever he was drinking into the phone and started laughing and dropped the phone and hung up. And I knew I'd hit solid gold. Called me back and he's like, dude, how are you going to do it? I'm like, I'm going to create a lot of tongue in cheek. There's going to be a lot of sexual innuendos. It's going to be funny. I got this guy who already cartooned me, thinking like Marky Mark, Boogie Nights meets Johnny WOD. I mean, like there's so much just heresy and just ridiculousness in the fitness world. But then I thought, instead of making it disingenuous, let's just poke fun and let's give the people what they want. Let's give them hot, heavy, salty DWODs and some strong, firm, full mass strength WODs. And so we brought CrossFit football back as Johnny WOD. And then what happened, I started realizing that a lot of the accessory work that I would program, I just spun off into Johnny WOD as a bolt-on. So it's the strength that you love from CrossFit football, the conditioning workouts that you loved from CrossFit football, paired up.
Hard, heavy, fast.
Yeah. Hard, heavy, fast, no cuddling, no eye contact, mixed with a pretty sick accessory bodybuilding program. And I'll tell you, the amount of people that stack Johnny WOD and Johnny WOD fucking crushes it. And the people, like I get hit all the time, like this is the best combination on the internet. So what we should do for Atticus Kip is he needs to transition over from doing Field Strong, and he needs to go over to Johnny WOD and stack a little Johnny WOD on there because he needs a little bit of bodybuilding too.
Well, from this post, his goal sounded like he wanted to essentially compete with his friends and own and dominate within the glycolydic pathway.
Yeah. Field Strong is not training you to be the best at exercise.
Yes.
It's a sport performance program designed for individuals that are looking to use it to compete at a given sport. If your sport and what you want to compete on is thrusters and fucking glycolydic capacity, you need to do a program that puts that at the forefront and fucking melts your face off. And you need a program that's going to help you get stronger. And the one thing that was universally true, and I don't give a shit what program you pair it up to, CrossFit football has made more strong motherfuckers than anybody on the planet.
Through bedrock's foundation and the base level of strength established through the linear progression.